context that Jesus already knew many of the disciples, and if not all of them. Half of them were his family, okay? Or people he would have run around with. But when you read it in verse 18, now Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee, right here at Tabgha. He saw two brothers, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. He said to them, "Follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." Immediately they left their nets, and they followed him. Going off from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, in the boat with Zebedee, their father, and mending their nets, and he called them. Immediately, emphasis on the word immediately. Immediately they left the boat and their father, and they followed him. Tons and tons of metaphors throughout Scripture on fishing. Okay, and because that's what God's called us to do, to be not just think small in terms of fish, but in terms of people. That people are what matter to God. And just usually I break this down immediately. Whenever God calls you, stop waffling. Stop trying to be two-faced, as we were talking about, or divide between two opinions. All those things we've already talked about this week. But if nothing matters more than the voice of Jesus. If he calls you to do something and you know it, he knows it, everyone else around you know it, you got to do it. But what does he say? He says, "Follow me." First thing, follow me. That word is the word in the Greek is opiso, which means to get behind someone and follow the leader. It's kind of a military term, but it's you opiso me. You get behind me and you follow me where I go. And that would be the picture of rabbis and discipleship. We said earlier, rabbis were rock stars at the time. Everybody was kind of clamoring for the right rabbi. Well, it literally meant when someone was to disciple you, as a rabbi would disciple you, it would be to follow in the dust after. Like you're following right after them in their dust, eat their dust. And you're learning everything you can from them. He says, "Follow me, and I will make you." That idea, same idea of I'm going to train you. You follow not just the teacher, but you go after the training. That Jesus has a particular training that he took those guys through those 3.5 years. Yes, it was being with them. Yes, it was certain content, things he had to teach them that had to get in their brains, but also had to get in their hearts. But he's sent them out 2 by 2 to do ministry. And then when we're talking about the feeding of the 5,000, the feeding of the 4,000, who did the passing out of the food?
Disciples.
Disciples did it, right? Exactly. The little boy had to give up his Happy Meal, right? But it wasn't turned into anything until it was that God could use until it was released and given. But it was the disciples who would go around, and if we're doing the math right, we're just estimating numbers and never ask a preacher how many people were there, because it's ministerially speaking, it's going to be a little bit more, But if there was 5,000 men, there had to be also women and children. So they just guesstimate that there could have been 12,000, 14,000, we don't know. But God performs a supernatural miracle by taking something and actually multiplying the mass. So not to get too science freakish about this, but Jesus literally took something and manufactured new matter, new mass out of what was there. That's something, of course, something only God could do. So you follow the teacher, you follow the training, whatever is held on to, it's gonna go away and die, But whatever you give over to the Lord is going to be taken and multiplied. That's the training. But it's also you've got to go do it. And then lastly, it says, "Follow me, I'll make you fishers of men." What is a fisher of men? That's the task. We have a task to do. Each one of us. We all have jobs or whatever. When we leave here, we're going back to Reeves, cupboard, construction, whatever it is. And some of you I know are retired. So what? Who cares? You still got a job, You just stopped doing the old thing and now you're doing something new. Your task, your vocation, your whatever is that you're on task as a fisher of men and women. No matter what you're doing, it's about the relationships that you're building, sharing Jesus with whatever it is God's given you to do. It may be own a restaurant. It may be working with your hands, working with tools, maybe golf, horses. Whatever God's given you to do, that thing that He's given you is given for you to go and make fishers of men. This is a fulfillment of Jeremiah 16, where Jesus inspired the prophet Jeremiah. This is so cool. I told you this is not just something that was a New Testament idea. It's all through the scriptures. Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I am going to send for many fishermen, declares the Lord, and they will fish for them. And afterwards I will send for many hunters, and there is bow season just opened Saturday. Here we go. And they will hunt them from every mountain and every hill and from the clefts of the rocks. For my eyes are on all their ways, and they are not hidden from my face. That the Lord is going to eat. And this is speaking about the sons of Israel coming back to the land as we see that prophecy fulfilled.
Where was that found?
Jeremiah 16:16. And just one last deal. Imagine you're on this site, okay? All right? And just Khalil's done a great job talking about those who are castaways and those who are far off, that Jesus went after them, right? But imagine if you're on this countryside and nobody's prepared well. Like, what were they thinking? Nobody brought anything to eat, but there's one kid with his Happy Meal, and you're sitting in the back, good Baptist, sitting in the back. And you see Jesus, little boy, 12 disciples, and you're going, I'm starving, but there's no way there's going to be enough for me. And then you see something starting to happen. Jesus just left and right. Loaves and fishes. I think it's just what that symbolizes to me, what Jesus was doing, that the gospel was going to go to the ends of the earth. And it was going to go to those who are in the back rows, those who were forgotten about, and those who, there's not going to be enough for me, but somehow, some way, the gospel is going to go to the ends of the earth. And we get to be a part of it. As messed up as the church has been, one of the great things about going to some of these different sites is you get to see ancient history, but you get to see your heritage passed down to you. Broken as it is. But God's faithful to His word, faithful to His people. But emphasis on we are called to go and share it. It's not just my job. It's all of our jobs. And I just tell you, there's nothing like being a fisher of men. There's nothing like being a fisher of women. We were at breakfast this morning, and Jennifer was talking about a small group of 14-year-old girls. Bless her heart, And she was just excited about two girls that just